I want to thank you all for coming here today. I want to thank you for your service to our country and for the sacrifices you've made on behalf of the American people. We're deeply indebted to you for all that you have done. Everyone knows why we are here. There is an untenable backlog at the Veterans Administration Oakland office, and we are here today to address it. Everyone agrees that we must improve the delivery of services out of the Oakland VA. We know the history now, we know the audit results, we know the data, all of which are damning. It's easy to point fingers, it's harder to fix problems. But you have our pledge here today that we will fix Oakland VA. Having said that, we have got to do that together. I want to thank the Oakland Director, Douglas Bragg, and Regional Director, Willie Clark, and their staffs for coming here today. There are VA claims workers that are sitting down right now with veterans in room 206. Now, each of you should have a number. And as your number is called, you will then report to room 206. Someone will come into this room and identify the next group of veterans who will be seen by caseworkers. Now, I want to go off script for a moment and have you meet an Iraqi platoon sergeant who is now a veteran who came to my office over a year ago. And that's how this odyssey has started for me as a congressional representative, to try and understand why it is taking so long to get these claims adjudicated. Now, Ari, this is a trip up to this microphone is part of your healing process. Can you say a few words to us and to your fellow veterans?
Congresswoman Speier, Congresswoman Lee, distinguished veterans and guests. My name is Sergeant First Class Ari Sonnenberg. I was deployed 3 times to Iraq and 3 times to the Balkans during the genocide wars in Bosnia and Kosovo. I'm also a veteran suffering with the readjustment necessary to function as a productive citizen in our society. I'm a combat veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder and a traumatic brain injury. I suffer from this depression and the haunting memories of the horrors of war, which has caused me to attempt suicide. Why am I telling all of you this? I'd like to use this opportunity to express to the VA benefits section how the unnecessary delay, the loss of documents, and mishandling of information caused added stress and anxiety to my already difficult life. It also added stress to my loved ones. After over a year and a half of getting run around the VA system, I called the Congresswoman's office. Congresswoman Speier and her district director, Richard Snefford, went above and beyond what was required of them to make sure my claim went through in a reasonable time frame. I'm grateful for what they have done for my family and me. They have given me hope and held a poorly trained and ineffective regional office accountable for their mistakes. The Congresswoman held them accountable for causing unnecessary difficulties and hardships to our heroes. If it were not for her, I would still be floating around the system. I'd be still dealing with documents being lost and not being given any information on my claim. If it was not for her, I would still be waiting for my service connection disability. Our veterans surrender their rights when they enlist. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears in foreign lands all over the world. Our families have suffered the after effects of war. Where there is a veteran suffering as a result of combat, there is a spouse, a mother, a father, children, and family watching, feeling helpless. Their family is shedding tears, watching their heroes deal with their issues. I'm happy the American people are learning how our service members are being treated after all we have sacrificed. In a time in our nation where there is too much across the aisle of negativity, there are stand-up leaders like Congresswoman Speier and Congresswoman Lee that have not forgotten the sacrifice our service members and their families have made for their country. Thank you.
Let me conclude by quoting our first president, George Washington, who said, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any way, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional as to how they perceive the veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by their nation." You know, the language is old-fashioned, but the thought is timeless and critical to our democracy.